What up, though? Welcome to Woman Crush Every Day, where we discuss queer media, especially when it is black and especially when it is woman. I'm your host, Tang B, aka Sean B. Scribe.
And I'm your host, Allison, aka Al Woo.
And today we are going to discuss Pause with Sam J, Episode 5, Season 2. But first... Subscribe.
Go ahead and do that.
Yes.
Get in there because that's what you want to do. That's why you're here. We talk about queer media. It's like really dope. It's like woman loving woman. It's like black people. It's like sweet. Boom.
You pretty much want to know when we're going to do that.
That's what we do. Yeah. So you want to get those notifications and bada boom.
Yes. Awesome. So into Sam J. We've been covering Season 2 of Sam J. There's a Season 1, obviously. That was before Season 2's. If you've never watched the show before, where have you been? It is a combination of a party scene where people are having general conversation. Then she'll mix in like interviews and sketches to kind of build on this argument or theme that's being presented. Mm-hmm. And this time around for Episode 5, Breakfast with Julia, it is about openness in relationships and polyamory and cheating and all of that.
All of that stuff.
And none of those are really the same.
It was a whole lot. It was a whole lot of Sam J and her fiance really speaking about their histories and what has happened over the course of their relationship, the good times, the bad times, the in-between times.
Yeah.
But it got us talking.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about it. So let's go. If I don't know if we mentioned this. It's somewhere. It's somewhere in the world. Sam J, Pause with Sam J is on HBO Max and or HBO if you want to watch that. I think it drops on Fridays at like 11.
Nights. Yeah.
So, yeah, watch there or stream it anytime on HBO Max.
Absolutely. So, let's start with favorite moments.
All right. You know, my favorite moment in this episode was a moment where she was talking with comedian CP, Detroit What want to just shout him out, but she's talking with comedian CP and they get to talking about experiences that they've had. Well, Sam is talking about how, you know, she's doing a show and then she sees a little shorty afterward and wants to like holler at her, you know, and kind of see what's up. She wants to have that freedom to do that because she's built herself up to this place in her career where she has the opportunity to really holler at who she kind of wants to holler at and the means to do those types of things. But knows that maybe that's not the best thing for her relationship. But CP brings something up about the relationship that he has with his wife and how they've been together for a really long time, and through all of that, he's like, there's been a comfort built up in their marriage. He feels as though like he said, I feel like I'm her best catch. And I think, and I felt also that he was also saying that he feels like his wife is his best catch. Like for all of the people that are out in the world, that even if we do get attracted to other people for different reasons or whatever, like knowing that the person that you're with or choosing to spend your life with and dedicate your life to, I think just being at that place in the relationship where you know, yeah, there are other things out there, but this is the best thing out there for me.
Yeah.
Because we've done the work for it. We've, you know, like you can't just do that with somebody else. I don't know. I thought that was a beautiful thing, especially for a relationship. Like when you've been in a relationship with somebody for a while and you're kind of going through the ebbs and flows, but to be in a safe space with your partner to know I'm their best catch or they're my best catch.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a really beautiful line.
That is beautiful.
That was my favorite part.
It's always beautiful when people are choosing their partner and know that they want to be with them rather than like, well, I just got to do this. I just got to stay. I love that. I think for me, my favorite scene was when Sam J is talking to this queer black elder who I don't want to call her an elder, but I think
she would call herself an elder.
She's at the point where she's ready to settle down. Her hoeing days are over. She's not going to be out here macking bitches anymore. She is like, I have found a woman and I want to stay with her. And I don't think it was necessarily the sentiment of I want to stay with her, but I think it was her transition into how she thought about her partners. And that before she was moving in this kind of selfishness and not really caring about the feelings of the people that she's interacting with, and how that shifted into, well, if I care about you, if I love you, then I have to be considering your feelings. And I thought that was a beautiful conversation, but it also made me want to like point out a difference between open relationships and polyamory, which is like two different things, but I'll put them over here in the same. Why don't I just say it? An open relationship is you are saying that you and your partner have the freedom to sleep with other people, interact with other people in intimate ways. Polyamory is saying that you have the capacity to love more than one person at a time, that you could love multiple people simultaneously and be in relationship with them. And then cheating is just like doing whatever you want, not really giving your partner any kind of notice, conversation. You're not being honest about it. You're just out here doing you. So I like that she was able to talk to somebody who is like, yeah, women are beautiful. I spent my time trying out each flavor I could, and then I came to a point where I wanted to consider somebody else's feelings a little bit more. It was nice to hear a different perspective than Sam J's take, which was,
I'm trying to play.
I should just be able to cheat.
I'm trying to play.
And you shouldn't say nothing about it.
Yeah, no, that was a really dope moment.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Okay, so who's your woman crush?
This is a tough one. I might say my woman crush in this one is Sam J's fiance. And I think it's because of the way you're gonna find her name.
I am.
Thank you so much.
I'm not gonna do her like that.
Because she also talked in the episode about not wanting to just be like Sam J's girlfriend, and how she had her own identity prior to starting this relationship and really uprooting herself for the sake of love. And I love that she talks about how she was still entertaining Sam J when she didn't really have any money. Now I will say this, she was also saying she was playing the field simultaneously, but I love that even though there was a rupture in their trust, they are continuing to try to talk to each other and figure it out. I think that is a sign of maybe respect for one another. Maybe something else, but I'm hoping it's a sign of their respect for each other. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yanis Monet.
Yanis
Monet. Yanis Monet.
Forgive me, Yanis Monet.
We love you. We love you.
You make an appearance every episode.
And you are a woman crush.
Yes.
Shout out
my
you.
woman crush.
Shout out you.
Yanis Monet.
And matter of fact, 50% Suzanne Sugarbaker. Who is that? 50% Karen Walker, but black. All right, well,
I don't know.
We'll figure the rest out later. Yanis, shout out you.
Yes.
I'm gonna go ahead and double down on that. I'm gonna give it to Yanis because I don't know. I liked that we got to see this part of her and this vulnerability in her too around. Yeah. Just who she is. You know, like she's not just Sam J's wife, fiance, you know what I'm saying? Like just Sam J's partner. She is her own person, her own boss bitch, bad bitch. And let's celebrate her for that. And bada boom. That's all I got.
Yes. All right, what can stay, what can go for you?
I think what can stay is the conversations around polyamory and open relationships.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times when we see stories about women loving women, black women loving women, I don't feel that really gets to be part of the conversation. I feel like our relationships are very much like dire, you know what I mean?
And
like,
only.
Yeah. It's
forever.
Like, yeah. You know, and I think to just be in this space where it's healthy, to me, it feels healthy to be able to talk about what you want and communicate what you want and need with your partner for your longevity.
Yeah.
Watching this episode got me talking with other people, got me talking with my barber about like what happened on Sam J and what does that mean for our individual relationships, or what are these ideas? How do we think about Yeah, having other people around, or what does that even mean? So I think it kind of opens up the space to work through ideas, because it says that there isn't just one answer.
Yeah.
That has to apply across the board. What can go? I think what can go really is those feelings of having to hide around like what your desires are. And I think the anxieties that are present when people in relationship don't, or when people are afraid to really speak to what they want and need. I think that is so psychologically damaging, emotionally damaging. And I think people put like unrealistic expectations on folks in relationships when it comes to, just being somebody's everything, and I think, everybody can feel a little bit differently about that, but I think that saying that there is one set way for relationships to be, and if you don't do it, then you're wrong, and it's all wrong, and it's fucked up, and it's not gonna work. I think that as a feeling can go, and I think those standards of like the only standard of monogamy as how humans should live, I think that could go. I think it can go. And I look at myself as like predominantly monogamous as an identity, but like I also don't think that my feelings need to be everybody else's feelings.
Yeah, that's very well said. I think, what can stay for me is definitely this conversation, and I hope the conversation goes even deeper, and I'm going to bring another community into this, and that's, so I also follow Black Educated Lesbians on Facebook, and one of the conversations that always comes up is what is considered cheating. And people will run the gamut of cheating is like actually sleeping with somebody else, or cheating is actually forming another relationship with somebody else. And then there are people that's just like, you shouldn't even be looking at somebody having an attraction. You shouldn't dance with somebody. You can never even like have a close friendship and have a crush on them. Like nothing that will humanly happen is allowed to happen in these very strict monogamous relationships. And I think thinking about, and we've talked about this, not possessing your partner, but like being a space where they can choose to be there and you can choose to be there, and not feeling like they are locked down, locked away, imprisoned by the relationship. I think just opens the door for healthy communication. So that can stay. Seeing two people, and while it's a show, so is this their actual couples therapist that is on the show with them? I don't know. But to see them modeling like, we are going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this rupture in our relationship, and we're going to actually have somebody help us talk through this and help us decide what it is we want and how we are going to decide to move forward, to help us give a framework around that and give us an opportunity to say like, what do you really want? What do you really want? What can you really promise? What can you not promise? I think that can definitely stay. What can go is Sam J thinking that you could just cheat, which I don't think that people should just be doing. I think if you just want to do whatever you want to do at any time without having to check in with anybody, you should, 1, get with somebody who's down with that kind of thing. 2, be okay with them having those same rules. Or 3, not be in a relationship. Yeah. Just don't do it. If you aren't mature enough to have a real conversation about your desires and what you're gonna do, not even what your partner will let you do, but if you've decided that's what you're gonna do, at least giving them the opportunity to have all the information and make their own decisions. Yeah. So that can go, and the Julia Roberts fantasy can go.
That scene can absolutely go.
I mean, but if that's what you want, Sam J, more power to you having fake Julia Roberts.
Enjoy that. I want to know Julia Roberts' reaction.
I'm sure she was like, I'll skip this.
What?
Maybe she thought it was so funny.
The person playing Julia Roberts can also go.
She was not Julia
like
Roberts.
you can just go.
I mean, I guess it was a fantasy of Sam J's version of Julia Roberts, who completely entertains her conversation. Sounds like she was a woman of like the 1920s. Like,
yo, yeah, that fantasy. I'm just like, yo.
The white woman
I can't knock
fantasy
people's
isn't
fantasies.
for me.
I can't knock people's fantasies. You gonna like what you like, but so queer canon. Just move on. Where does this fit in the queer canon for you?
I think talking about relationship structure in relation to queer women, but also extending that to relationship structures that everybody deals with. I mean, monogamy is something everybody at some point who chooses to get into a sexual or romantic relationship with somebody is going to have to deal with. Is this just between us, or are there other humans involved? Mm-hmm. And thinking about that, I think is really healthy. Yeah, I want to hear more of this conversation. This is a conversation that I think is happening a lot in the queer community, and in some ways is a conversation that's trying to bubble over into actually being queer. But that's another thing of the poly community kind of wanting the same identity marker as the queer community, and feeling like they have a queer sexuality in a way. But I think most humans look at other humans and occasionally have a sexual attraction that they want to pursue. And acknowledging the humanness of humans, to me, is strangely queering the way this hetero world is set up.
That's,
I'll say specifically
real.
Patriarchal world is set up of there is one man for multiple women rather than multiple people.
You said woman's?
Yes.
That was great. I had to call it out because honestly, that made me laugh.
Woman's.
I will love a women's.
A women's.
Yes, one man for multiple women's.
Yes. Versus like anybody for anybody who is willing to engage, with consent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's really interesting. I don't know that I've been aware of that argument of like poly people in the queer sphere or bubble or included in that space, because I think about like the Mormon community or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I think about
don't think they would want
polygamists, right?
Well, that's
connect.
really different, because the polygamist is exactly that, the patriarchy of there's one guy and multiple women. So yeah, I don't think they want to be roped in with queerness at all. Okay, because they don't even believe in the freedom of their women.
Sorry,
sorry if you're Mormon and I'm getting it totally wrong. I mean, yeah. That's not a Mormon
How
belief
many
either.
Mormons are watching this?
And also, that's not all Mormons. I feel like that's like a very small sect of Mormonism is polygamous still. I think for the majority of them, they're like, can y'all please stop putting that on us? We don't do that.
I like what I like. Anyway, sorry.
Where does this fit in the queer canon for you?
Okay, I think I really feel like I agree with a lot of what you said around it's dope to have these conversations, and it's dope to see queer Black women having these conversations, leading these conversations, challenging their own belief systems, trying to come out stronger in light of that, and yeah, putting this out on a platform. I think putting it out on a like for everybody to see these folks work through these things.
Yeah,
I think this episode in particular, I have seen Black women with white women, like, we've seen interracial lesbian relationships, right? But I don't know that I've quite seen the interracial lesbian fantasy before. So I think that's with fucking Julia Roberts. I just feel like that's somewhere. You want to talk about like building this book, expanding this universe that is Black queer women. That is a chapter of how many Black lesbians have like fantasies about Julia Roberts. That's somebody who I literally have never ever thought about at all.
Well, I do know at least one other queer person who was in love with Julia Roberts. You shall remain nameless.
Say her name.
She was Black.
Say her
name. Nope. Say her name. Nope. I'll say this, though. There was one other thing that I really appreciated about this episode, and that was the opportunity for the person who's been cheated on to talk about what that felt like.
Ooh, yeah.
And to talk about what their process of investigation was, what their process of trying to heal was, what their process of their own retaliation was, and how they're continuing to process that. And I think that's really important for people who have been in relationships where there has been cheating or dishonesty, really dishonesty of any kind, is that period of knowing you are going to have to rebuild with this person, and they need to have the feelings they're gonna have, because they'll come out now or later. You don't want the built up ones.
Yeah.
You would rather get them out as their well, maybe not anyway, but just being able to talk about that and hear somebody talk about that from a point of realness, not scripted, I think was really important for the lesbian canon.
Yeah. Word.
Yeah.
Well, I think, if you're in a relationship, this is a really interesting episode to watch with your partner. If you haven't gotten into these conversations, I think this is a good episode to kind of really gauge things.
About to be some people breaking up.
Definitely gonna be. I know some relationships ended off of this, but I also know that some relationships got stronger
for sure
because of this. So shout out that, and yeah.
All right. So until next time, y'all.
That's it.
That's it. Peace.